We're back with Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, The Root of All Evil, Part 7. When we left off, LJ scheduled a meeting with his hacker after having a very disappointing conversation with Captain Arrington. Miss Maria was found dead in her house with the needle that Jessica used to poison Miss Cheryl. India was held at gunpoint, but somehow she managed to show up to the house and get it prepared for Regina's return home from the hospital. And Q, Regina, and Bernie got Angela all settled at home, and then Q left to take Regina and Bernie to their destinations. After dropping off Bernie and on the way to the airport, Q and Regina have a heart-to-heart. Regina tells Q, "Listen here, Q. You're going to have to take the bull by the horns. You're the man in this situation. Create some distance between you and Angela. In this line of business, our clients are called assets for a reason. They can always get another you. But you can't do this job without them." Q says, "Regina, believe me, I know. I've been thinking and praying about it." Regina says, "Well, if you've been praying about it, then it's time that you do precisely what it says in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Q says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence." Regina says, "For out of it are the issues of life." As they pull up, Angela looks at Q and says, "Bro, stay focused on your job. Keep my sis and her baby safe. And as soon as she drops that load, have my husband reassign you." He chuckles and gives her a hug and says, "Stay safe, sis." Regina looks at him and says, "And you, stay dangerous. Now, before you rush on back to work, take a little bit of time for yourself." She was stressing heavy on that word work. Q chuckles and says, 10-4. Meanwhile, back in North Carolina, LJ is meeting with his hacker friend Lorenzo. He gives him a picture of Bruce and Jessica, tells him to find them. He gives him the departure and arrival times of their flights to and from Denver in North Carolina, and he tells him to pull out all the stops, hack into security footage, use facial recognition software, hack into the police department's automated license plate reader system, ALPR, in Denver and North Carolina, and he tells him that he is not concerned about the costs. His phone rings, and it's Q. Q lets him know that Regina's on her flight, Angela's home safe, and he's going to take a little bit of time for himself. Q pulls up outside of the building. He follows the signage. He walks into the meeting room. He walks over to his contact. They shake hands. The man says, "Quincy, I'm glad you finally decided to come inside. You plan on actually staying this time?" Q laughs and says, "Yeah, I think I'll do that." The man offers him donuts, coffee, other refreshments, and he declines. He walks over, takes a seat, sits down at the circle, looks at all of the faces there, sits back in his chair, and says, "What up? My name is Quincy, but everybody calls me Q, and I'm an alcoholic. It's been 4 years, 3 months, and 11 days since my last drink, and right now, I'm having a hard time. See, I'm in the professional protection business, and I think I've gotten too close to an asset. Again." After the meeting, Q heads back to the house. It's around 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. He's feeling a lot better now that he's finally decided to go to a meeting and unburden his soul. Sobriety has pretty much been easy for him the last 4 years, but these last 3 months and 11 days, not so much. As he's driving back to the house, he starts thanking God for a clearer perspective and a clearer mind, and he's ready to focus on his job. But for some strange reason, something in his spirit just doesn't feel right. He's looking around, making sure that he doesn't have a tail on him. He's checking his phone to make sure he doesn't have any missed calls or text messages. He decides to give Angela a call and just check in and see if she's okay, even though he's only a few minutes away from the house, and he doesn't get an answer. That's not like her. Q is speeding through traffic. He's in and out of lanes. He's running red lights and stop signs. He gets to the house in what should have taken him 8 to 10 minutes in 3 to 5. He pulls up at the security gate. He asks them if everything is well. They tell him nothing seems amiss. He pulls up into the driveway, runs into the house, and everything looks fine. He rushes into the new bedroom that Angela's in, and she's not in the bed. The nurse is in the recliner, and she looks like she's asleep. He's calling her name. He walks over to her. He shakes her. She's not waking up. He shakes her again. She's not waking up. He realizes there's a cup on the nightstand. It has what looks like lemonade in it. But when he picks it up and swirls it around, he realizes that it's cloudy, and it's like a white substance in the bottom. He puts the phone down, hits the button on the intercom, and says to security, "Hey, yo, get an ambulance in here ASAP." Q runs into the bathroom. He runs into the sitting room, into the dining room. He's running all over the main level. No Angela. He also notices that India's bag is gone. He decides to try calling Angela's phone again. But this time, he hears it ringing in the bedroom where he just checked. He calls India's phone, and he hears it ringing upstairs. Q runs up the stairs. He's taking them 2 and 3 at a time. He's following the sound of the ringing phone, and it leads him into the nursery. When he gets in there, his mouth is wide open. He's in complete shock. The entire room has been demolished. India's phone is ringing inside the baby's crib, and there's drops of blood leading from the crib into the adjoining bathroom. He follows the drops of blood and finds India dead in the bathtub with a note on her chest that says, "Don't let this drive you to drink." He runs out the back door to head to the guest house, and he finds Bentley with his throat cut, laying in the backyard. He keeps going, running to the guest house so that he can check the security cameras. Meanwhile, he's calling security on the phone to find out what the hell is going on. Security tells him that India got to the house sometime between 5 and 6. She pulled up to the gate as usual by herself. She pulled into the garage. She went into the house, and she stayed there till about 45 minutes before Q came back. She left out by herself. They didn't see anything. Q tells them, "You couldn't have saw India leave in her car by herself because she's dead in the nursery bathroom. Get the police here." When Q rewinds the security footage, he sees India's car and a woman driving it, disguised to look like India, pulling into the garage. On the garage feed, he sees the woman get out of the car and pull India out of the trunk at gunpoint. On various cameras throughout the house, he sees India cleaning up with the woman following behind her at gunpoint. He even sees India take Bentley out for exercise. But before she does, the woman holds up a phone, and on that phone is an image. And when he zooms in on that image, he realizes that it's a picture of India's daughter tied up. Later, he sees India take a phone call, and it's around the same time when he called her to let her know that they were on their way home from the hospital. Then, when they pulled up, he saw the woman force India into the cellar where they remained until him, Bernie, and Regina left the house. He then saw India prepare a tray with food and lemonade for Angela and the nurse, and the woman pour something into both glasses and stir it up. India walked the tray with the fruit and sandwiches and lemonade into the temporary room that Angela's staying in, and then he's unable to see in the room because there are no cameras inside the bedrooms for privacy purposes. Eventually, India walked out of the room, and India and the woman walked upstairs to the nursery. Now, because the nursery is for the baby, there are cameras in there, and what he saw there just blew his mind. He saw a woman hit India over the head with a lamp, drag her into the bathroom, pull her into the bathtub, suffocate her until she stopped moving, drop the note on her lifeless body, go back into the nursery and completely destroy it, then go back down the stairs and walk into Angela's room.